I'm going to flick through the cards. Anytime you like, just say stop for me.
Stop.
Here?
Yes.
Can you see the card? And you have the card? Very slowly, very fairly, watch. All I do is I take the cards and I push. And when I push, you'll notice one card comes to the top of the deck, the 6 of... It's not your card.
No.
No, you see, if we look through the deck, we can see, in fact, every single card. And if we were counting as we look through, you'd realise there's only 51 cards. Just 51 cards, no sign of your card at all.
No, no.
No, it's really gone. Because you remember we pushed.
Yes.
But we pushed too hard. You see, if we just wet the tablecloth ever so slightly, that allows us just to break through the tablecloth, just to tear it, just like so. And if we tear the tablecloth, you'll see all the way underneath is in fact just one card, exactly your 3. Hopefully, the card you chose. This is the explanation for card under tablecloth. Matt Julian has a brilliant version of this, but this is a much simpler version than actually loading the card under the tablecloth live in performance. What it requires is a duplicate card and a very simple gimmick. Before I perform, I load a duplicate to my false card under a tablecloth. Now, for explanation purposes, the 3 of hearts will be my false card, and if you imagine the close-up mat is actually the tablecloth. So that's loaded into position under the tablecloth, and if I get to a function or I'm performing this in my house, I go into the hall or into my dining room and I load it way in advance. And I just remember where it is by maybe putting a salt or pepper shaker on there, so it's very easy for me to find and I don't really have to think about it too much. Now, the actual gimmick that this uses is very, very simple to make. It's actually a 2-card gimmick, and you can see the front card. It can be any card. In this case, I've used the 4 of spades, and glued to this behind is a duplicate of the false card, the 3 of hearts. Now, what I've actually used is a 3M product called Spray Mount. Now, this is repositional spray glue. And what I've done on the 4 of spades, so imagine this was the 4, I've sprayed just the bottom section here with the 3M glue, the Spray Mount. That's readily available from any good stationers. And I've allowed that to dry for about a minute. And what I've done, once that's dried, is I've just cut almost like a half moon, it's not even as big as a half moon, just from the front edge of that card. Now you will see that very carefully, very closely here. You can see just that. That's what we call a scalloped short card. Okay. Now I've taken the duplicate 3 and I've laid that into position so it's all squared up, and the only part of it that's actually glued is the bottom third to the 4 in front. Now the reason I have the scalloped short card is I place that into my deck about a quarter of the way down, and what that allows me to do is to force that card very cleanly, very fairly. And all I need to do, you can do this either with your thumb or with one of your fingers. I prefer to use my second finger. I hold the deck like this, I angle it towards the spectators, and I ask them to call stop. Now there is a little bit of timing involved with this. It's not a difficult technique. You can try this out. By the time you give the instruction, you're already more than halfway through the deck. So what I do is I ask them just to call stop, and as I riffle up, I'm naturally going to break, and you can probably hear that now. You won't hear that in performance, but you can hear it for explanation purposes. The scallop card has gone down, flush with the rest of the cards, and now I can show the 3 of hearts very cleanly and ask somebody to remember that card. Okay, so just in real speed, I say I'm going to flick through the cards. Anytime you like, just say stop for me. They do. I ask them to look at the card. I then riffle off, allow them to see the card, and I turn the card face up and I put it down approximately into position where the card is loaded under the tablecloth. I then say, I'm going to show you something you'll never forget. Take my right hand, place it on the card, place my left hand on top and push. And I say, you know what that's done? That's moved your card from its position in the deck. It's put it all the way to the top. I pull out the top card, in this case the 6 of spades, and it's almost like I read their face, their reaction. I say, I'm sensing it's probably not your card. In fact, I'm going to show you something you'll never forget. I can now ribbon spread the cards out, and make the suggestion that if they were to count the cards, they'd realise there were now only 51 cards. Now I can thumb through or finger through the cards one by one, very cleanly show the face of every single card, and their card will have vanished from the deck. Now the reason it would have vanished is because as I laid the cards down, I turned them end for end, and they never see the 3 of hearts, which is now glued and hidden behind the 4 here. Okay, so the scalloped edge is towards me now. So as I thumb through the cards, I can really go through very cleanly, very fairly, very quickly, and their card has, for all intents and purposes, genuinely vanished. And this is an amazing moment of astonishment for them. I say, I know what happened. I gather the cards up and I move them aside. Now what I usually do is if I'm working and there's a paper tablecloth, I'll take a glass of water and I'll just wet the tablecloth, which makes it easier to tear through the paper. So I'll wet the tablecloth and I'll just start to tear. Obviously we can't do it here, and as I tear, they see something beneath the tablecloth, and as I pull it out, it's an amazing reaction that you get every single time when they realise it's their card, their 3 of hearts, which they've seen before, which actually comes from beneath the tablecloth. Now one thing I will say is when you do this, do put the card face up, so that as soon as you do it, it's in continuity with the rest of the deck, okay? Because you're putting the deck face up, you're pushing. When you reveal the card, you want it to be face up. Another nice tip for this is you can actually put your own signature or just somebody else's name, but you write it on the face of the card that you load under the tablecloth and on the face of the force card. That means when they see the card, they might see the name Lisa on it. When it vanishes and then subsequently reappears from underneath the tablecloth, for them, it's exactly the same card because it was a previously signed card. Not by them, but the association is there, so it makes it even stronger. One other tip that I will give is that I usually do tear the tablecloth because I think the ripping of the tablecloth makes this, auditory, very orderly, very strong, is very visual, and it's just something very dramatic. If you are working somewhere where you have a cloth, what you can do, something that you can't tear, obviously cut through or destroy, if it's white, and white usually works best for this, and then a lot of restaurants use white cloths, you can actually just get the glass of water, pour it on the tablecloth, which actually makes the cloth transparent, so that you can actually see the image of the card through the cloth. Okay, and it's like a really ghostly image, and of course they have to sneak under and pull it out and reveal it themselves. That's the card under tablecloth, a fantastically strong effect, one that I urge you to use, try out, and amaze everyone that you know. Would you reach in and remove a card, please?
Yes.
Have a look at it and show it to the camera. As I run through the cards, anytime you like, say stop.
Stop.
Place the card back. The rest of the cards go on top. I'm going to try to find your card in a magical way. Just concentrate on your card, please. Your card was a black card.
Yes.
But not a spade, not a spade.
No.
If I need to find a card, would you just hold your hands out for me? Say the Ace of Hearts. I could spell A-C-E-O-F-H-E-A-R-T-S. I end up with the Ace of Hearts. But you chose a card as well. Which card did you choose?
Jack di Fiori.
The Jack of Clubs.
Yes.
But if we spell J-A-C-K-O-F-C-L-U-B-S, we end up with your Jack of Clubs.
Yeah. Jack di Fiori, yeah.